Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Blackout Tea channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day and feeling blessed. We're going to get into some updated news surrounding the Romeca Meeks case. So, we know that Holly Johnson, I reported that she has finally been arrested. She had no idea that the FBI was even coming or on her ass. Her and Carlos literally thought that they had gotten away with murder. Holly appears to be about, she's saying, 7 weeks pregnant. It is a damn shame that you go and you try to have or make babies after a situation of not knowing what was going to transpire. But I am assuming that she thought that everything was a-okay and that she was not going to be charged after they let her go the first time. But it appears that the bus that was in the area was recording as well as the witnesses. The judge is not fond of the fist pump that Carlos and Holly shared after Romeca was unalive. We're definitely going to go ahead and get right into details. If you're here, thank you so much for joining me. To all my returning subscribers, mwah, you know I love you. To any new subscribers, we appreciate you being here. Mwah, welcome to the channel. And to anybody that has not subscribed, do your girl a favor, thumbs up the video. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you have your notification bells on so that you are updated each and every time I bring you videos. I ain't gonna hold you. We gonna go ahead and start, honey. Here we
The
go.
family of 31-year-old Romeca meets Blackmon, who was studying to become a nurse before she was fatally shot back in September. On Wednesday afternoon, Chicago police arrested 31-year-old Des Plaines resident Quindacia Johnson in connection to Blackmon's murder. On September 8th, Blackmon died after she was shot at the intersection of Cermak Road and State Street. She had just dropped her 6-year-old son off at school. Right before her death, police say a fight broke out between Johnson and Blackmon. Sources say the two women knew each other. Initially, right after the shooting, Johnson was arrested and released without charges. This hearing is expected to get started sometime between 11:15 and 11:30, and we'll definitely bring you the latest developments in court. Reporting from 26th in California, I'm Jewel Hillary, WGN News.
All right, here's a breakdown on what actually happened in court.
That I've had a chance to digest that I did not know prior to that live. So give me a second. Okay, so I'll start out with this document first. And we're going to get to all of that. And I may not answer your questions because for the sake of timing, I do have to write something for the 4 o'clock show. But, okay, so in this case, DMV, victim being Romeca, D being Johnson. So I'll just alternate the names. So, Quindacia Johnson and Romeca Blackmon each have a child with witness 1 in this case. All 3 parties got into a dispute near a school. Johnson threatened Blackmon multiple times in front of witnesses. Johnson then retrieved a handgun, shot Blackmon multiple times in front of witnesses. This is according to the Cook County, this was filed for the murder charge, the first degree murder charge. So again, Johnson threatened Blackmon multiple times in front of witnesses. Johnson then retrieved a handgun, shot Blackmon multiple times in front of witnesses, and then we know, sadly, Blackmon died. Johnson murdered Blackmon after Blackmon had just dropped her child off at school. Johnson celebrated the murder immediately after. Johnson was undeterred by the presence of witnesses, public setting, broad light near a school, and near many children. Multiple civilian calls to 911 before and after the murder. It basically goes on to say that she deserves to be held behind bars because clearly she doesn't care about the harm, and based on the previous circumstance that happened, nothing would stop her, is essentially what it says. Now, this is what the court is alleging. Now, this is a 3-page document of all of the facts from the court. So it says, witness 1 has a 6-month-old child in common with Johnson, as well as a 6-year-old child in common with Blackmon, the victim. In December 2024, the defendant sought a stalking no contact order against the victim, alleging that the victim made verbal threats to the defendant through the defendant's family members. The defendant in this case, let's go back. So in December of 2024, the defendant sought a stalking no contact order against, so that means that Johnson sought that stalking no contact order against Romeca, alleging that Romeca made that verbal threats to her through Johnson's family members. Johnson did not allege that Blackmon committed any acts of violence against her. The order of protection was granted in July of 2025, but was never served on the victim. I think I kind of mentioned that a little bit earlier. On September 8th of 2025, just before 8:30 in the morning, Witness 1 drove his black Mercedes SUV from his home located on South State Street. So this is the father in all of this, to the location of 20 West Cermak. Johnson was seated in the front passenger seat, and the 6-month-old child was in the rear. So the child was present through all of this, Johnson's child, in the removable car seat of the Mercedes. The defendant was dressed in a black jacket, that being Johnson, with green leggings. The father double parked his Mercedes on Cermak 2 car lengths in front of Johnson's black Chevy Cruze. Johnson and the father of their child then removed their child from the Mercedes and walked towards Johnson's Chevy and loaded the child into Johnson's vehicle. At approximately the same time, the victim drove her white Kia sedan to a school located nearby. The victim was dressed in a light pink outfit. She dropped her 6-year-old son off at school and then drove to where Johnson's Chevy and the father of their child was parked on Cermak. Romeca double parked her Kia on Cermak behind the father's Mercedes and got out, while Johnson stood outside of her car. At this time, Witness 2, who does not know any of the parties, so a witness on the street, drove past Romeca, Johnson, and the father, observing that Johnson and Romeca standing in the street arguing, but unable to hear exactly what was being said. This person observed the father standing in between the 2 ladies with his arms extended, and then observed the Johnson, she's D in this case, the defendant, Johnson away. So witness 2 observed the father push Johnson away from Romeca, while that doesn't make sense in that file. While Romeca, unarmed, stood stationary with her arms crossed across her chest. Minutes later, another witness on an eastbound bus that drove past saw this argument again between Johnson and Romeca. She observed, and bus video captured, Romeca and the father standing in the open driver's door area of Romeca's Kia. At this time, this witness was walking east on Cermak, approaching State Street. This witness got off the bus, walked across Cermak, and stood under the CTA Green Line stop near another witness. Those 2 witnesses also don't know any of the parties involved. They observed the father standing in between the 2 mothers, Johnson and Romeca. They observed Johnson walk towards the driver's door of the Kia, standing in the threshold of the driver's door, with the father standing immediately outside of the driver's door. Johnson was standing on the sidewalk arguing with Romeca. Another witness observed the father strike Romeca by repeatedly swinging the driver's door of the Kia closed on her. Another witness called 911 reported that the father had struck Romeca multiple times with the car door. After her 911 call, Romeca entered her car. After her 911 call, she entered her car. 2 witnesses then observed Johnson approach Romeca's car and heard Johnson making threats towards Romeca. Another witness walked closer to the incident at this time. That person observed Romeca exit the Kia, and when she did, observed the father approach Romeca from behind and place her in a chokehold with his right arm while striking her with his left. This is hard to listen to because this is some acts of domestic violence here as well.
Right.
This witness observed Romeca unarmed with her hands in the air trying to break free from the father's grasp. A witness heard Johnson make threats to shoot Romeca and heard the father tell Romeca that Johnson had a gun. Johnson then went to her vehicle, was observed by another witness retrieving a handgun and then standing on the sidewalk. The victim was able to break free from the father's hold and took steps away from Johnson as observed by another witness. That witness observed Johnson put her handgun at Romeca, walked toward Romeca, and then fired multiple times at her with a pause between the first shot and the subsequent shots. This witness had just turned to walk away when he heard, this is another witness, a gunshot, a pause, followed by 2 more gunshots. He looked toward the direction of the gunshots and observed the defendant holding a black handgun in her right hand. Romeca was struck multiple times and collapsed. Another witness, 2 witnesses moved Romeca's body and moved her slightly west. I guess she must have fallen into traffic. That person then called 911 and reported that Johnson shot Romeca and observed the father and Johnson fist bump one another afterwards. Officers arrived and observed that Johnson was unresponsive, unarmed, and laying in a pool of blood. On scene and covered in blood, Johnson was also on the scene and had blood on her. So the father had blood on him, Johnson had blood on her. Romeca was transported to the hospital and pronounced dead shortly thereafter. Johnson was positively identified as the shooter. Johnson detained and admitted to the shooting. From her Chevy, officers recovered a loaded 9mm handgun. Evidence techs processed the scene, recovering 3 spent shell casings. Ballistics analysis revealed that all 3 of those spent shell casings were fired from Johnson's firearm recovered from the Chevy. This is crazy. Johnson refused medical attention, was transported to the police station where she claimed self-defense and acknowledged that this was the first time. Listen to this. Please, 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 please. If you don't hear nothing else I say, listen to this. This is insane. And this is why you don't get caught up. And why I made my statement earlier about not getting caught up in no mess.
These relationships.
Does anybody know Carlos's last name? You guys keep.
Listen, these relationships that's so damn faulty. And a lot of these females will allow themselves to get caught up in bullshit because of these dudes. These dudes is out here doing them dirty, doing the other person that they're dealing with dirty, and then they be sitting out here trying to fight so fucking hard for dudes that y'all know already fucking doing y'all dirty. And shit like this end up brewing, happening. You have never ever met Romeca. Why would there even need to be a fight that fucking day about anything? Nobody knows any motherfucking body. Child, please.
Putting that person in there. Who is Carlos in this case? You guys keep saying it.
And I believe she did an interview because she's a real news reporter.
I want to repeat this last part. I just emailed because you guys asked about Carlos. I just emailed.
She is a real news reporter, guys, so you can follow her as well. Her name is Tia Ewing, and she also did an interview with Carlos. I'll probably look that interview up and show y'all how dumb his ass had looked. It makes no
To
sense.
find out if he's been charged.
He's a total joke.
Or will be facing charges.
He's a total joke. And he most likely is going to get arrested.
I'll have more to come on that. I want to read this last part again because it's very okay. Johnson refused medical attention, was transported to the police station where she claimed self-defense and acknowledged that this was the first time. So this is all fueled by what? If this is the first time she had ever seen Blackmon in person. Johnson did have a valid FOID card and CCL at the time of the shooting. On background, she had had some other run-ins with the law. One run-in on record. Again, Johnson refused medical attention, was transferred to the police station where she claimed self-defense and acknowledged this was the first time she had ever seen the victim in person. Um, I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think
Self-defense, and you ain't
that
never
is the
seen
most
some
awful
fucking body in
thing
your life.
I've ever heard. So you claim this person has threatened you through people. You've never seen them before in person. And why would you shoot them? Why would you feel emboldened enough to shoot them?
Right.
That's troubling. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I feel like that's troubling. Very troubling. And I pray that my 3-year-old daughter understands how important it is to love yourself, to not get caught up with no guys that's going to coerce you or influence your mind to do something stupid. And if you see signs of bullcrap, to get out of it. That's my prayer. And men too got to do better. That's horrible. What would be your basis of shooting and killing somebody you ain't never even seen before, and they didn't have a gun?
Right.
I don't know. All right. I appreciate you guys tuning in. More to come on Fox 32 at 4. I will post the story. I'm about to listen to the sound.
All right, guys. Child, this is Carlos and his foolishness. I'm gonna try to look up the one for Tia where he did the actual interview with her. Child, this is a whole mess, and Carlos has a lot to do with it.
I don't know. I just clicked on somebody. I ain't let me add nobody.
Your shit just glitching.
Yeah, they ain't let me add nobody.
Damn, buddy, come on, man. $1 million question, bro.
What's that?
You a personal trainer, right?
Yeah.
Shorty, okay, so your two baby mamas look like they real little, like real itty bitty women. You couldn't stop that shit.
It was stopped, but something happened. It's gonna come out.
In the video, from what we seen, it looked like you was trying to tell the bystanders to shut up. You pushed the girl back because you had blood on your hand, and you moved Shorty back like you was telling them to shut up, like you was trying to defend the fact that she shot her to the ground 3 times. Like,
No,
I
that's
don't
how.
understand. You saying people attacking you, but by the video, it looked fucked up.
That's a video. You ain't.
You was telling them to shut up. Why they gotta shut up if they just seen this lady get shot to the ground for no reason?
They was saying they was loud as hell, saying all type of shit. Like, oh, they was
Why
out.
wouldn't they be? Like, that's something
All right,
like
well,
you just
shit.
seen
Well,
somebody get shot in the face. She shot her 3 times. Why three times?
they was going
And
crazy out.
you swole as hell sitting out there with two little bitches, like they small as hell. Excuse my language, I ain't trying to disrespect the dead, but they little as
So
hell. You couldn't stop that, and you a personal trainer, bro.
once you hear
Like
the
that just didn't look right. Then you saying everybody attacking you. From the video, it looked a real suspect.
well, that's just the video. But once you hear this real story, you gonna be like, damn, that's how it happened.
But
But
video don't lie.
you ain't see what the video ain't show nothing but some aftermath. So you're
Right,
lying.
it showed you
So what
telling
you
no
gonna do?
girl them to shut up.
That
Like,
don't got
hey, be
nothing to do.
quiet, you moving them. Why they gotta shut up if they just saying an innocent
You
person
ain't
get
hear,
shot
you
three
ain't,
times and
ain't
she
hear what
this
they.
little?
Was you out there? What you hear?
What I heard was you saying like, get back, telling the people to get back when they was like, you
What the
shot her.
If the police would have did their job, what they say when it's a crime scene or anything going on? They say get back,
You
right?
ain't the police, nigga.
Go.
You supposed to been down there with your baby mama trying to make sure like hold a bullet wound or
Who said?
something. She just got shot
So,
three
so,
times.
so how you know I wasn't down there?
It's not the police. If I was standing right there, you would have been like, move back, like you the police. Like I really would have moved back. I probably would have been on the ground trying to help her,
But
especially
I
if that's
was
my
though.
baby mama.
I definitely was though.
Your ass looks strong as hell. I've been following this story since this happened. I'm trying to figure out how your strong ass didn't stop this girl from shooting her 3 times.
Hold on, let me see.
I want to know that.
It's gonna come out.
We
It's
want
go.
to know.
You go figure it out. Not on here.
And then y'all bump fists like good job or some shit. That's what they saying you did.
That's a lie. A lie.
That's
Don't
not
believe
a
the hype.
lie.
And then, hold on.
Y'all
On
did.
top of that, you trying to tell us like she did this, she did that, and she was
That ain't,
stalking me. Fuck all that.
that
This
ain't had
girl
nothing.
is
That ain't
dead. She
nothing.
not coming back. Why even do that if
No,
you
that ain't
still her
nothing.
baby daddy?
That they got something to do with do something with me. Like all that shit a lie.
What's the lie? Cause we seen in the video you was definitely moved telling them people to shut up.
I mean, so what? That ain't nothing.
How? Like, this girl is on the ground losing her life. She shot 3 times. She this little. I never met her, but she looked like she this little in the camera.
All,
Why she gotta shoot her 3 times? And then you talking about self defense, bro. Hell no, fuck that, fuck that. Ain't no self defense. She shouldn't have shot her 3 times. That's some bullshit. I didn't like it. Your ass look swole as hell. You nigga, you in here lifting weights and you couldn't stop them bitches from fighting. Come on, man. That's why we looking at you like that, bro. That's why the world looking at you like that. Straight up. Your ass too, you too swole to not stop them from fighting for one thing. Why would you want them? And then you talking about she got a gun.
Yeah, like I'm like, why did he even bring up the gun? Because maybe he put that on Holly mind. Because she goes back to the car to get the gun after you put that on her mind, Carlos. You told her
That
to.
shit muted.
So I don't know, man. Carlos, something ain't right about his ass at all.
Dude, I think it.
Seriously, I'm serious. In this situation, something is just not right about his ass.
Y'all, so why the witnesses was really saying that Carlos was holding Romeca in the headlock, hitting her, and then he was like, Holly was telling her that she was about to pew pew her, and he was telling her that Holly got a pew pew, and it's being reported for real that Holly had blood on her, he had blood on him, and the only reason why Romeca's body was positioned that way was because one of the witnesses moved because her body hadn't fell in the damn street. Baby, when I tell you this is an open and shut case, that is why she has no bond. This is open and shut. Girl, you thought you was about to get away with this foolishness. Like you really thought, and then y'all, it's on video. The bus caught it on video. The bus caught the girl. That's why he did not let you out. When I say, and I heard the judge don't play. I ain't even gonna hold you. This gonna be the case that retired that judge. This gonna make history right here. Cause why did you play like that? You should have never let that man gas you up. And I also feel like because he put his hands on her, they gonna see fit to goddamn arrest him too. Y'all, I cannot wait till this shit go to trial. I love this. Like I'm loving this. This been 3 long months. Y'all, so why the witness?
Now, we really got to debunk the first lie. The prosecutor did not pursue criminal charges against Holly to shut the internet up or to make the family go away. They pursued charges against Holly for 3 reasons. They knew that after they received the forensic evidence from the medical examiner office and they compared the witness statement to the point that they knew everything that Holly said was very untrue. And this is why the medical examiner office played a major role in this criminal investigation. If it wasn't for the forensic evidence, I believe Holly would have got away with unaliving Romeca. But however, the forensic evidence told a different story. Holly claimed she unalived Romeca in self-defense. Holly claimed that she was in fear of her life. Holly claimed that Romeca attacked her. But guess what? The forensic evidence said that was a lie. Now, one
Exactly.
thing you don't play with.
All right, guys, let's try to find this interview that Tia did. Oh, and there it goes. That shit popped right on up for me. Here we go. This is the interview with Carlos after Holly was arrested. That is Holly when wait a second, y'all. This whole case is just one crazy case. But I believe, lo and behold, that it is actually an open and shut case as well when it comes down to this situation, because it seems like this was all some type of planned or talked about. I just do not get a person going to get a gun from their car to unalive somebody that is not a threat to them at the moment, not bothering them, not attacking them, none of that. I did not, I don't get that part. And this is the result. You have Romeca unalived, and you have Holly looking crazy down at the county jail or wherever jail she is. But it's insane. It's
For the
insane.
first time, we are hearing from the father at the center of a fatal confrontation.
Carlos Smith shared children with two women, and now one of them is charged with murdering the other.
Tia Ewing has been following the story from the very beginning, and she has the latest.
A lot of details came out in court today for the hearing of Quadeja Johnson, including the fact that this was the first time when the shooting unfolded that she allegedly laid eyes on Romeca Blackmon. We know that she and Romeca Blackmon, they both have children by the same man. And for the very first time, we are hearing from Carlos Smith. He was the man on the scene when this tragic shooting unfolded. So a lot of information came out in court today. Witnesses saying what they saw, but you were there. What's your reaction to what you heard came out in court today?
When I heard it, I'm just looking. You know, it was unbelievable, but I was there. And I know for a fact none of that happened, how they just explained it. But my truth will get out here, and I hope everybody understand. That's really it. I can't even say too much right now. You know, because it's just going to feel like I'm going against them, they going against me, we just going back and forth. But the truth is going to come out.
Well, let's walk through this. So on September 8th, investigators say Johnson and the father of her child were near his home. They drove Johnson to 20 West Ermac, where her car was parked. They placed their 6-month-old into Johnson's car in the back seat. Around the same time, Blackmon had just dropped off her son at a nearby school and drove back to the area where Johnson and the father were. Witnesses told police the women argued. They reported the father pushing Johnson away and Blackmon standing with her arms crossed. They say he then slammed a car door on Blackmon and also put her in a chokehold. Prosecutors say Johnson broke free, and that is when, or I should say Blackmon broke free, and that is when Blackmon was shot once. And then that's when they say Johnson paused, then fired 2 more times. Police recovered 3 9mm casings there at that scene. Johnson legally owned the gun and claimed self-defense. Prosecutors say Blackmon was unarmed. Her son turned 7 days after the shooting and is still asking to this very day, where is his mother?
Carlos may be hurt for the rest of his life, but we make sure he see rainbows in his clouds. Okay? Nothing will ever change about that. There is nothing he needs that we cannot provide. He is perfectly well. He is happy. He is thriving. And even when he feels his lowest, we pull him out of it together like we do with each other. He a superstar like his mom, and he's going to show her better than he can tell her.
As for Smith, he says he has not seen his son since the shooting unfolded, the son that he has with Romeca Blackmon. We did learn today that Quadeja Johnson is 7 weeks pregnant. She did ask for leniency from the court, hoping that she would be able to attend her trial going back and forth from home. We do know the judge did not allow that. As for her, she will be back in a courtroom come December 23rd. From the Greater Grand Crossing neighborhood, Tia Ewing, Fox.
Now, I will say this. I am glad that they are protecting Romeca's son, because we all know that had Carlos gotten Lololos in his possession, that Holly Johnson, the person that unalived his mom, was most likely going to end up being in his presence at some point. And I would say that that would be a no-no. Okay? later on down the line, or even for him to know now, this is the person that's responsible for unaliving my mom, and my dad has me around this person. Lo and behold, them going and making another baby right after, and this baby situation must have been made probably around October, which was Carlos's birthday time, I believe. So that's about 7 weeks out, because she claimed that she's 7 weeks pregnant. I believe that Holly thought for some reason her being, or even saying or stating to the judge that she was 7 weeks pregnant, was going to get her out of staying in jail. But I believe that most likely they're going to keep her in jail for as long as they can. And it may be that Holly ends up having this baby in jail, simply because if they get to the point where they're going to say, no, we're not going to let you out into society until after you go to trial. So whether or not she's found, if she's found guilty, shit, child, she ain't never coming out there. I'm gonna tell you right now, okay? I feel like they're gonna stick it to her. That judge was not happy at all about that fist pump, and he made sure to make that statement in court that he was not happy. Like, you do not celebrate in the middle of the street with a fist pump with the dad of the other woman as well as your child after you've unalived somebody. And then on top of that, I don't know, Carlos is just not looking good. I know y'all ain't think but they've been coming for Holly. It just took them a minute to do so. They had to get their shit together, make sure that it's definitely in order. But I think that a lot of the social media stuff is a lot that led them right on back to Holly's doorstep. Okay. And then even, after she got on here with that I would never ever shit. And then she got on here and she tried to now come up, I think a couple of weeks ago, with a YouTube page. She's actually trying to cash out on the bullshit of her unaliving somebody, and then trying to share it as she's sharing photos of her and Carlos's doing. Like they're hanging out, and this, that, and the third. I mean, girl, give me a break. Give me a break. Who does that? Who does that? Yeah, but I think that she is most likely going to be having that little one in jail. And Carlos, um I would say they're getting closer and closer, because these two women didn't hadn't even seen each other ever. Hadn't even seen each other ever. Never ever. And the only thing that I could think that was happening was, y'all know how pillow talk happens, but he claims that he hadn't spoken to Romeca in a while. That doesn't mean that, they probably hadn't been together physically, but they could have been on the phone, and they could have been chatting, and they could have been talking. And somebody must have been carrying information back to fucking Holly about what was being said. Because if you notice, that's one of the points, that sort of made as well. I think the reporter said that it came out at the hearing that Holly had gotten information back from a family member. Well, she could say a family member, but that fucking person that gave her information most likely was Carlos. Because if you have never met somebody, where is there time for you to argue with nobody that's not there? You understand? For conversations and messages to go back and be, come on, come on, come on. And I believe, Carlos, your eyes really tell it all. Your soul right now looks guilty. You really do. You sitting around here trying to get on the internet, and it's sort of like you trying to build up clout off of a situation. The more and more clout that you can get, just like what Holly was doing before she went in, but you trying to make it look like you're the victim. Now you getting on the internet and you trying to bring out this sadness vibe of you don't know why people are seeing the you don't know why the world pretty much is seeing you the way that we are. It's because we ain't blind. We're not blind. And definitely half of us out here, a lot of us are very much so woke. Okay? People that been slow at this point is now reading between the motherfucking lines. 2 plus 2 equals 4, Carlos. It's all adding the fuck up. It's all adding up, Carlos. And the buck starts with you. The buck starts with you. Okay? So if you have coerced Holly in any way to get out here and pull some shenanigans off or whatever the fuck y'all two discussed, honey, you can definitely leave. At some point, she's going to start talking if that is the case. She is going to start talking because you've got somebody that thought that they had put a restraining order against Romeca. And then, bitch, you ain't even make sure that the restraining order got delivered. That means that she never got served. She never got served the restraining order. So you might be feeling like oh, I got a restraining order against her, Holly. But no, Romeca hadn't been served yet a restraining order. So your restraining order never said to her. She doesn't know about that paperwork. She doesn't know about that document. Her eyes never pierced the document. So therefore, she never knew anything about that. So they seem like they pulling that from underneath the rug. Okay? There's a lot of things in this situation, Holly, where you and your family, y'all have gotten online, and y'all been trying to go back and forth with people. Where, come on, man. Come on, man. You actually shot this girl 3 times. Holly, you shot her and then you paused. And this pause was so recognizable that you had the damn witnesses recognizing that pause, as well as whatever was recording, because I'm hearing that allegedly the bus, and I know that these buses now, you even got lights that record. So traffic lights recording, buses recording. Goddamn, if you got any Teslas next to you, they damn bitch may be recording. Because anything Elon make fucking is made to track your ass. I don't know why people buy his shit, but whatever. At the end of the day, girl, you paused in between shooting her 3 times. You shot her once, which means that the time that you paused, you knew that you hit her. And the reason you knew that you hit her because most likely Romeca either bulged up or her body fell at the point that you hit her the first time. You knew that you had hit her, and you decided, even though she wasn't a threat, you decided to shoot her again, pow pow. No ma'am. No ma'am, Holly. Uh-uh. Holly Karma has actually spun the block, baby. All right, guys, let's talk about it down in the comments. Leave your girl a message. Thumbs up this video. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on your post notification bells. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Mwah! Thanks for watching.